Hello everybody, Easy Rider here. Welcome to my next video. Today while I was driving my 18-wheeler listening to YouTube, I heard Adam Sandoval talk about Harley Davidson and how he believes that the Pan American is going to be a dud and it's going to go the way of a lot of other bikes Harley tried. I think he's 100% wrong, and I want to go over that in this video. Stay with me. And welcome back. First I want to say, I don't think Adam Sandoval's a bad guy or dumb or anything. He's a great guy. I love him to death. I follow all his videos. Just think he's a little bit wrong on this. This is not a personal attack against him. Like I said, I really like Adam Sandoval. He's a great guy. He's done wonderful things for veterans. I'm a veteran, and I have a whole lot of respect for him, but I just think he's a little off on this one. So stick with me. I'll go through some of the stuff he said and why I don't think it applies. Basically, what he was saying is that, if you heard his video today, that because Harley had failed at a few other things that it did, and it's not attracting their core riders and blah blah blah, that Harley should just stay with their core riders and try not to branch out. And partly I agree with him on a lot of that, so it's not that I totally disagree with him on that. But let me go through it and you kind of see where I'll end up here. First, he talked about how the live wire was a dud. Well, I knew that at the beginning. Everybody knew that. Electric motorcycles, they're a fad. They're just impractical. They're not real, bikes that we could use. And, if they were like $5,000, the live wire, yeah, you might have sold some, but $30,000 commuter bike when you could buy, a cheap Japanese, small bike to commute on for, pocket change, or you could buy a Chinese scooter that gets 100 miles per gallon for $1,000. Why would anybody want to spend, $30,000 on that? So it was impractical. It was never going to get off the ground, other than a few people here and there. And so, you can't use the live wire and say, well, Harley riders won't ride the live wire, which, they would if it was practical, but it's not practical and it's expensive. And then he mentioned the street line that they're tried to do. And now with the street line, it's a little bit different than the live wire. They were trying to get a younger crowd and stuff, but, on that level of small bike, you've got so much competition. I mean, who's going to want to, come into a Harley dealership to buy a small motorcycle? And a lot of young people, you have to understand, a lot of young people are afraid to walk into a Harley dealership because they think, this is going to cost $30,000 for everything. They don't even consider the word affordable and Harley in the same sentence. I mean, I used to be like that. I love BMWs. I'll talk about that in a little while, and I have owned BMWs, but there was a long time I would never walk in a BMW dealer because I thought they were just way crazy expensive. And I think that's what, happened with the street. There's just the market's too saturated. I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit because they're loading my trailer up. I'm actually underground right now in a cave, and they're loading me in a cave. I'll pop some pictures up here in a second, show you what's going on. So it's going to be a little shaky here. The V-Rod. Adam Sandler mentioned the V-Rod was a flop and blah, blah, blah. Well, let's talk about the V-Rod. It was a great bike, a great motorcycle, but again, practicality, just like the V-Rod. Just like the live wire. The V-Rod gets 35 miles per gallon, came with a 3-gallon tank, has a range of like 100 miles if you're lucky before you get your warning light on. My son has one. He won't ride it with me because, I can't go far enough with it. It's a totally impractical bike. It's great if you live maybe on the east coast or in a city and you just bar hop. Yeah, it's a great bike. But, if you're going to go, I live in Ohio. My average trip running around, is 200 miles, 300 miles on any given day. I'd be filling that thing up 4 times. It's ridiculous. So, and they're uncomfortable, and then you really can't put bags on them. So they were totally, absolutely impractical. That's why the V-Rod died. Other than that, it's a great engine, great bike. Love it. But, it's the way it is. And then the Buell. I owned a Buell. I had a Buell Ulysses. And here we go again. It's a Buell was mostly sport bikes. And how many sport riders would even consider walking in a Harley dealership? They wouldn't even think that they could walk in a Harley dealership. So, yeah, in that case, it was a totally different crowd. I wasn't going to buy one, but, I bought the Ulysses because it was kind of like a adventure bike. And at the time, I didn't know better, but it was a great bike. It was a good sport touring bike. I had it for 10 years. Loved it. Wish I still had that bike. So anyway, let's get down to the Pan Am and why I think the Pan Am is different. Now, the Pan Am is going after a totally different crowd. It's going after the adventure crowd. Now, let me mention this about adventure bikes. An adventure bike is a bagger that you can take off-road. Let me repeat that. An adventure bike is a bagger that you can take off-road. It is not an enduro bike. It is not a motocross bike. It is not a trials bike. It's not a whatever. It's not whatever you think it is. It's a bagger. It's a touring bike that you can take down a dirt road or off-road or whatever. Now, there are people that take them in crazy places. I get it. I've got one. I've got a Honda Africa Twin, and I've taken that to places I wouldn't want to walk. But it's still a bagger that you take off-road. Now, the typical Harley rider. Let's talk about the typical Harley rider. They want to dress up and be the Billy Badass biker dude and leather and, short sleeve shirts or sleeveless like on Wild Hogs. And, they want to have an image, and that's all great. That's cool. I got a lot of friends. I mean, I've ridden Harleys for, since 1980 I've ridden Harleys. So I get it. I understand what that Harley rider is. But Harley riders, you got basically, I'm going to be kind and say 50-50. 50% of the Harley riders, they very rarely go more than 10 miles on their bike. Let's be serious. They go to the bar, they go to bike night, they rev their engines up, vroom, vroom, they dress like bikers, they get a big kick out of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is that what you want to do? God bless you and more power to you. I mean, I'd say 50% of the Harley riders, that's where they're at. The other 50% actually ride their bikes and like to go places. And I'm gonna take this full circle here. You look at most people that actually ride their Harleys and go places, they all have bags on, windshields and bags. Because every one of them, in their mind, even if they don't do it a lot, they want to go on an adventure. And when I say adventure, it doesn't mean, necessarily off-road or around the world or anything like that. In their mind, they want to go on an adventure, and they want that bike to be able to get filled up with all the necessities, and off they go to either camp or stay in a hotel. Even if they never do it, in the back of their mind, that's what they think that bike is there for. And they want to have an adventure. And so look at them. Look at most bikes that you see, Harleys, and they're all baggers. They're all baggers of one sort or another. And even people that buy the more naked Harleys end up putting bags and windshields on them because they want to go have adventures. They want to go far. They want to spend the night somewhere. They want to have fun. That's that 50% or more really of the Harley riders that have them. So they want to have an adventure. So let's bring it back to the Pan Am. The Pan Am is an adventure bike. Now, it's still the same guy that wants to have a bagger, but it's that bagger guy like me that's had a 1,000-pound electric glide and come up to a dirt road and like, gee, do I really want to ride this down a dirt road with a 1,000-pound bike? And the answer is normally no. But I really do want to go down that dirt road. I want to see where it goes. So where 50% of the Harley people got adventure in their mind, a lot of them really want an adventure bike. So you say, well, BMW is the best adventure bike, and everybody that really wants one to get a BMW. Now, I own BMWs. I'm in a BMW club, actually 2 BMW clubs. I ride with BMW people. I a whole different group of people, man. And I ride with people that have GSs and the off-roady kind of Harleys. So I know where they're coming from. And a BMW, I love BMWs. But let's just be serious here. A BMW GS, I've almost pulled the trigger a couple times, but I haven't because they cost a lot of money to fix when they break. And the older oil-cooled BMWs with the dry clutch in the back, you get off in soft dirt or mud and you burn your clutch up, that's a $3,000 bill, So a lot of them GS guys learn that real fast. Like, yeah, I like to go on adventures, but, I really don't want to burn my clutch up. The new ones, they switch the clutch to the front, so you really don't have that problem. But you know, still, if the ESA shock goes out, you're out $2,500. If any of those electronic doodad systems go out, you're out big money. So they're great bikes, and plus the BMW, every 12,000 miles, 8,000 miles, you have to bring it in and get the damn valves checked, and they're all shim valves. So good luck on that. Most people just take it into a shop. You got to get the fuel injection. I forgot what the word is, timed or whatever. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff that has to be done on a BMW. So here comes the Harley, and you say, well, why would a BMW want a Harley? Well, the Harley, you don't have to mess with the valves ever. You know, it's a lot easier to work on. The clutch is sitting on the side of the engine where you can get at it. There's a lot to love about the Harley. Specs are crazy wonderful on the Harley. And I know a lot of BMW people, and I've been on the forums and stuff, and there are a lot of American BMW guys that are going to be asking the question, why do I really need a BMW with all its crazy bills? You want parts for a BMW? You have to send away to Fritz in Germany to have them mail them to you half the time, you know, if it's an off-the-wall part. So, you know, I think Harley hit a home run. Adam, I love you, man, but I don't think you see the full picture, man. So, I mean, if it fails, it fails. But I think it's a hell of a bike. If I didn't just buy an Africa Twin in October, you know, I wanted that Pan Am, but Harley freaking fiddle screwed around for 3 years with their stupid friggin' live wire instead of doing the Pan Am. I would have bought that Pan Am 3 years ago. I would have bought that Pan Am 2 years ago. I would have bought it 1 year ago. And now it'll probably be, I don't know if I'll ever buy one, you know, because I already got an Africa Twin, like I said, and I expect that thing to last a while. So it may be a long time before I buy a Pan Am, but I want one. I'd buy one. So, Adam, I love you, brother, but I think you're missing it. You can't say that the Pan Am's anything like the V-Rod, the Street, the Buell, or anything else, man. It's a whole different animal, and it's a whole different crowd. There is a huge adventure crowd out there, and I think they're really going to love this bike. So, Adam, I don't know, you probably never see this video, but that's my thoughts. As you would say, that's one man's opinion. Anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this. Have a great day. Easy Rider is out.